To order. I will read the resolution. Whereas federal monies are available under the Connecticut Small Cities Community Development Block Grant Program administered by the State of Connecticut Department of Housing pursuant to Public Law 93-383 as amended, and whereas pursuant to Chapter 127C and Part 6 of Chapter 130 of the Connecticut General Statutes, the Commissioner of Housing is authorized to disperse such federal monies to local municipalities. And whereas it is desirable and in the public interest that the town of Watertown make application to the state for the $2 million in order to undertake a small cities community development program and to execute an assistance agreement therefore, should one be offered. Now therefore it be resolved by the town council. 1, that it is cognizant of the conditions and prerequisites for state assistance imposed by Part 6 of Chapter 130 of the Connecticut General Statutes. And 2, that the filing of an application by the town of Watertown in an amount not to exceed $2 million is hereby approved, and that the town of Watertown is hereby authorized and directed to file such application with the Commissioner of the Department of Housing to provide such additional information, to execute such other documents as may be required by the Commissioner, to execute an assistance agreement with the State of Connecticut for state financial assistance, if such an agreement is offered, to execute any amendments, rescissions, and revisions thereto, and to act as the authorized representative of the town of Watertown. Dated at Watertown, Connecticut, the 6th day of May, 2024. Mary Ann Rosa, Chair, Watertown Town Council. At a regular meeting of the Watertown Town Council held on May 6, 2024, the foregoing resolution will be moved and acted upon. Let's open it up for comments. First, anyone from the council who wish to make any comments? No? Before we go to the public, maybe we could have Mr. Peter Testa, our consultant, and Janelle Wilk, Chairman of the Housing Authority, come up. You can go first.
Good evening. My name is Peter Testa from A&E Services, and as mentioned, my firm has been hired by the town to prepare an application on behalf of the town of Watertown and the Watertown Housing Authority to be submitted to the Department of Housing in the amount not to exceed $2 million. The applications are due to the state by May 31st at 11:59 a.m. Applications are ranked and rated, with the highest ranking applications being funded. The funding originates from HUD, and it disseminates down to the state of Connecticut. The state of Connecticut then provides funding to entitlement communities, which are communities with populations of more than 50,000, and the small towns, your small cities, which are towns with populations of less than 50,000, have this application process that we need to submit to. And as I said, they're due on May 31st, and there's approximately $11.4 million available from the state in this round. The funding is provided to the town of Watertown as a grant, so there's no repayment on your part, and then the funding is passed to the Watertown Housing Authority also as a grant, so no repayments are due back from the Housing Authority to the town. The Housing Authority property is part of the state-sponsored housing portfolio, which is a requirement of the state's funding this round, and it has been their focus for the last several years to provide financial assistance to the Housing Authority properties. The application meets the national objective of benefiting low and moderate income individuals, as all residents at Country Ridge are at or below 80% of the state's median income. As I said, the funding is provided to the Housing Authority as a grant, so no program income will be generated, no repayments will come back, therefore no program income reuse plan is required. The town is currently operating their housing rehabilitation loan program, which is being funded by repayments from previous participants that have transferred title, and then those funds were as a 0% interest deferred payment loan. So that money does come back to the town, and it is on a revolving basis, which then, lent out again to eligible homeowners. So that's, the requirements of today is to seek public comment on the economic and community development needs of the community. And if there's no, say, objection to the intent of submitting this application, that would be what the town would do based on your approval.
Anyone here have any? Yes, Rachel.
Through the chair. On one of the handouts, it says the capital needs assessment estimated, and the grand total is just over $3 million. But the grant would be for $2 million. So if we got the $2 million grant, would we just do $2 million worth of work, even though the grand total is estimated to be $3 million?
Yes, this may be a multi-phase project.
Okay.
Because of the limit of funding. The Housing Authority may also seek funding through the Connecticut Housing Finance Authority, CHFA. They have more, I'd say, liberal and higher levels of funding, though it's typically a condition, the CHFA funding is typically a condition of once you get the small cities funding. They're using that as leverage, so then the Housing Authority could seek additional funds through the CHFA money.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
What's the downside of this?
The downside.
I don't see any. That's why I'm sitting there saying, I hate to use the word free money because nothing's free. But to me, the town doesn't, this is obviously state monies that are coming in, and the town doesn't have to chip in at all on their side. And this is just money coming in, correct?
Yes.
It's kind of a no-brainer.
Well, there is generally a in-kind service. So, hopefully the building permit fees could be waived, and that could be used as part of your in-kind service. When your building official goes out, or your planning and zoning, or whether it's Lisa or anybody else that's working on this application or the grant, as the money becomes available, those are counted towards your in-kind service. So there's no real out-of-pocket cash, let's say, just in-kind services. So you're right, there is no downside.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome, thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone from the public wish to ask any questions? Doesn't appear that way. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you. I was just going to say, we just want to thank you for this, because it is, I know there's no money coming from the town, but we are getting your assistance by helping. Lisa's done wonderful things for us, so this will help us a lot. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
I just thought of a question.
Yes.
How long after the application is submitted before we know whether we're going to be funded or not?
That's a good question. It can be anywhere from 3 to 6 months.
Wow.
From the time that the applications are due to the time that the governor announces. And that's just I say a guess, but I mean, historically, it's been 6 months plus.
Okay, so it's not at the end of this fiscal year.
No. So the money you're applying for, say this year, in 2024, if we get approved, will probably become available sometime in 2025, and the project will then go out to bid. The renovations that are proposed for Country Ridge are exterior in nature. Roofing, siding, doors, and windows are all going to be replaced, and upgrades to the existing fire alarm. As a matter of fact, I was on the call today with the engineer and architect, and Lori Fink up at the Housing Authority, going over the particulars of the fire alarm system. They want to discuss that with the fire marshal to make sure that everything's going to be in compliance.
There was a lot of documentation relative to the kitchens and bathrooms, too. Those aren't ones that would be touched?
Not at this time. Because of the time crunch.
Right.
Applications, as I said, are due May 31st. We need to have 90% drawings and specifications ready. So this, in discussing with the Housing Authority, it seemed to be that this would be the most advantageous route at this point, based on the time frame.
Do the exterior.
I'm sorry, Miss?
Do the exterior.
Exactly, yeah, yeah. And, secure the envelope, there's possibility of doing some bump outs in order to create what's called ADA units. You need certain turning radius, approach zones, clearances, so on and so forth. So that may not work within the confines of the footprint of these buildings or these units. So there's discussion of possibly doing some, what they're calling bump outs, little additions, to incorporate these spaces. And if that's the case, then that would be, like I say, a second phase.
Very good. Okay.
I think, I just thought of a few things now, too. So, through the chair, under urgency, there's only one item on here that you actually have a 1 on, and it's bathrooms. So I'm assuming sense of urgency is 1 through 4, and item 1 and 2 would be done before 3 and 4? Is that how I'm looking at this, or am I out in left field? Do you know?
Where are you looking?
I'm looking at the capital improvement list.
Oh, okay, I see. Again, based on the timing of it, they didn't, the Housing Authority and the architect did not feel that they'd be able to have plans and specifications ready in time for the application. So that's why we're kind of switching the approach.
Yeah.
But to your point, yes, I mean, priority 1 should be priority 1.
Okay, okay. And also, Country Ridge is the first complex on the left coming up the hill, correct?
No.
It's the white units?
Yeah, it's the
Or the-
second, it's right across from where Crystal Rock was. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Right, but they're both across from Crystal Rock.
So if you're going up the hill, it's the second complex.
Okay, they're white today?
Yes.
The buildings were, okay,
Yeah.
because it doesn't seem like it was that long ago, the first section had siding put on them in roofs. So that's Country what?
Buckingham actually had, so I think it was Truman, Buckingham, and Country Ridge is without, we need roofs desperately. We
Okay.
haven't gotten roofs probably in, I don't know. like-
Original.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're original, I believe. I don't want to misspeak, but yeah,
No, we're still talking about the white units.
the white units.
Right, but I'm
Yes.
saying the ones before that coming up the hill. Those were probably done in the last 20 years.
Oh, Buckingham, I think they've
Siding-
been done in maybe 10
siding and-
10 years?
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
10
all right.
years,
I
believe.
was confusing the two complexes.
Yeah, no.
That's it.
Country
Thank
Ridge
you.
is up for roofs. Yes,
Thank you very much.
thank
You're
you.
welcome, thank you.
No one having any further questions, we'll close the hearing. Now we got a half an hour.
I was confused, Mayor, that you read this.
Yeah.
Don't you have to read this? Don't you have to read?
Recording stopped.
Well,